What's going on, everyone? It's time for another film review. Today we're going to be talking about Shudder exclusive. It was originally released in on the British net or Shudder, um, in back in August, but yeah, now North America gets it. At least Canada has it. I'm not sure about the American one, but yeah, it's called Raven's Hollow. Like I said, it's a Shudder exclusive. It was originally released August 27th, 2022, and it's directed by Christopher Hatton, who also did Robotropolis, Battle of the Damned, Avatar, and Phantom Racer, and a few other films as well. This is a very big budget type film. Um, so Raven Hollow is, well, you're following Edgar Allan Poe, who is basically a military operative in training in the 1600s or 1800s or whatever it is, and yeah, and he stumbles across a murder mystery that is evolving in Raven's Hollow as they go, and one of their own guys killed, and clues led them to Raven's Hollow, which leads them to even more of a murder mystery. There's people disappearing and dying in this little community, and it's up to him and his colleagues to figure out what's going on, even though some of them don't. Some of them suffer a more terrifying fate, and more weird things start to happen in this community as they're investigating. This is a good little mystery thriller. It has some horror elements mixed into it, but it's more on the mystery thriller side than a horror film. Stylistically, I think this film is really well done and well captivated into the way these period pieces should look. You can tell it's like a little bit lower type budget type of film. It's no, it's not like The Witch, where it's very superior and dark, and still captures that atmosphere really well, just in a different, more digital looking tone, and yeah, which makes it kind of feel a little weird, not. But overall, I thought the acting was really well done. The characters are not well written, but it does have they do have some um, interesting aspects to them and some weird stuff to them too. A lot of things come and go in the story that with no explanation and stuff. So the writing aspect is probably one of the weaker ends of this film. But the acting's really good. The cinematography is really good. The music and the overall atmosphere is good. And even some of the darker parts where you see a creature-ish thing, and they incorporate a lot of from Edgar Allan Poe's classic poems and stuff into the film as best they can, and which works. But the way the story goes, it's kind of a little bit random at times, and it's no surprise. This might be a little bit of a spoiler, but there's witchcraft involved, and yeah, and it ends up um being associated with a murder in the story. And as it goes on, it kind of gets a little more convoluted and weird, um but it which ends up not making sense in some spots. So some people have been ripping on this film, saying that it didn't make too much sense, or that there's not enough payoff because they're thinking there's a creature feature and you only get to see a creature for 10 minutes and then that's it. But if you like films like The Witch or The Vitch or whatever you want to call it, period films like that, Apostle and things like that, this is more that type of film. But it's more of a murder mystery. It has some horror elements mixed in, but it's way more a murder mystery thriller type of film. But overall, I thought it was good, but it definitely wasn't perfect. Um, it was interesting, a unique concept. It just could have been executed a little bit better. If you look at the track record of the director, he's directed some pretty terrible movies, to be honest, and most of them are for The Asylum. But yeah, for a big break, where to give him a no step up in filmmaking, this was actually a pretty decent film. I think this is one of his better ones. I've seen Robotropolis. I haven't reviewed it yet, but I've seen that, and that's terrible. And I heard of a couple of his other ones, which are hit and miss. So, but for this one, overall, I think they did the best they could, and it came out good, but just not outstanding or anything. I love the atmosphere. I love the time setting it takes place in, and the way they try to capture that as best they could. And yeah, and that was pretty well acted. But for the most part, I didn't think it was all that great when it comes to the writing. I think that's the biggest downfall in this film. If the characters way more fleshed out and things made a little more sense, it would have been a little more cohesive and a better film overall. But for what we got, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it was good enough. It's a good little spooky story with some interesting imagery and some really odd, confusing witchcraft type stuff mixed in there, and to give you a convoluted, interesting, but odd film. So, but if this sounds like something you want to check out, and it's on Shudder, by the way, so you can check it out. Check the link to the trailer down below. Also, if you're on Shudder, make sure you look for my name, Derek Peterson, no spaces. That's me. Post my first, because I always post my first opinion right after watching the films, and it's already right on there. So look for me on Shudder. This isn't sponsored by them or anything, but yeah, check that out. Anyways, yeah, also link down below is my Instagram where I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my stories, the film title hashtag, and the subgenre of film and a hashtag so you're aware of it. And also, Letterbox is down below as well at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating after watching the films as well. So make sure you follow me on one of those two platforms or on Shudder to keep in loop with this channel. And yeah, make sure you like this video, share it to more people wherever. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. If you have any other films that you want hear my opinions on that are either on Shudder or in any genre, and you want to hear them, and comment them down below. I'll try to get them as soon as I can if I can find them. And I'll review any genre of the films. So, yeah. And make sure you subscribe because hopefully find something weird, scary, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together. Also, so you hear my opinions on popular films coming out at the time, somewhat like this. Reviews on classic films and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because I got like 3 B horror film road trip movies to check out next. So the first one for that is probably going to be a movie called The Craving, which is more of a creature feature as far as I can tell. But yeah, so make sure you tune in for that, ring that bell, and yeah, watch out for all those crazy witchcraft doctors out there trying to put curses on our towns. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.